Hello and welcome to this week's edition of ELCAT News. I'm your host, Jen Carlos. At this week's Town Council meeting, members bid farewell to Councilors Paul Federici and Kevin Manley. Both served as selectmen prior to the adoption of the charter in 2016 and were elected to the new council out of a field of 32 candidates. Council President Kathleen Hill read and presented proclamations to each of them.
Be it hereby known to all that the East Long Meadow Town Council offers its sincere congratulations and best wishes to Paul Federici for his 7 years of service as selectman, followed by 3 years of service on the East Long Meadow Town Council. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As well, we have a proclamation for our very first town council president under the new form of government. So the same applies. A proclamation from the East Long Meadow Town Council offers its sincere congratulations and best wishes to Kevin Manley for serving on the inaugural town council and leading us as the first town council president. Thank you.
Most of Tuesday's meeting was devoted to a presentation by Tracy Adamski of Ty & Bond Civil Engineers, updating the town's compliance so far with the new stormwater permit issued by the EPA and the Massachusetts DEP.
So thank you for your time this evening. My name is Tracy Adamski. I'm a planner with Ty & Bond. We've been working with the town now probably for 15, 16 years on stormwater management, but most recently over the course of the last year or so working on compliance with this specific permit. And if I can work technology, there we go. So the purpose of the meeting today, this meeting in and of itself is in part to meet one of the requirements of the new permit, but it's to provide an update on East Long Meadow's ongoing stormwater management program. There's been a program that's been going on since 2003, and there are updates to meet the new permit that started back in July of last year. Discuss the town's notice of intent and the stormwater management plan, which describes the entirety of the stormwater management program in town, and also to solicit feedback and answer any questions that you might have.
Information is also accessible on the DPW page of the town website, as well as through the Connecticut River Stormwater Council and the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. It's 4th of July week in East Long Meadow, with the carnival due to start on Saturday evening, the fireworks on Wednesday, and the parade kicking off at 10 a.m. from the high school on Thursday. The carnival rides are taking their places in the center field, and the flags, bunting, and decorations are popping out all over town. The 125th Anniversary Committee is building a float for the parade to recognize the birthday of the town's independence from Long Meadow. Volunteers were at work this weekend decorating the 18-foot trailer provided by Meadowbrook Farm. Last week we reported that the parade committee had selected John Maybury as this year's Grand Marshal. We sat down with Maybury last Thursday to talk about his involvement with the town over the years and what the recognition as Grand Marshal means to him.
So what I speak to a lot of times is, the three-legged stool, where there's your family, and then business, and then your community. And for me, for over 60 years, this is my community. So from an early point in time, I actually was involved in the JCs and the carnival and, things in town. I was lucky to be involved, really in my teens, and have just continued to do that with East Long Meadow Chamber or, other things that I've participated in, whether it's business nationwide as president of my business association, or now I'm pretty heavily involved as chair of Bay State Health. So it's still my community, it's still Western Mass, it serves a great population. So I was fortunate to be, able to be in this community and engaged early. And it makes a big difference. I know the town from before a lot of things were here, and now after it has changed, but I've been able to be involved in a lot of that, including the DPW and other things. So, and it's good for anybody who's in town to get involved, as opposed to just hope it was a better or different place. You need to try to figure out how to make it a better place. And, I don't care any less about East Long Meadow right now than when I was fully engaged on the Board of Public Works or anything else I was doing in town. But over the years, I now have a fairly good commitment to Bay State Health, which is Western Massachusetts and, a bigger region, because I feel that benefits East Long Meadow just as much. So, Bay State cares about population health, so it doesn't matter from what affluence you come, Bay State treats everybody, and, we need to take care of everybody. And same thing in the town of East Long Meadow, we need to take care of everybody. So, we have problems with youth, we have problems with elderly, and everywhere in between, we have to make sure we're participating to do the best we can. Yeah, so it goes all the way back to grandparents. So lucky to have hardworking grandparents, aunts and uncles, my father, my mother. They all had the right background. My grandparents came from Ireland and England to the United States and settled in East Long Meadow, and my parents settled in East Long Meadow, and aunts and uncles were in East Long Meadow, so East Long Meadow was what I knew for a community. But their work ethic and their caring about, the neighbors, the town, the place where they worked was kind of I just lived it. So it's hard to deviate from what you know or what you live, and it's nice to feel that you can continue to build on that. Same with the people that have been grand marshals before me. Obviously, they, had a really good perspective on East Long Meadow and the things they did for the town. So it's not without the great support of my family, so my parents, but then my wife and my two sons have been very supportive to me, in almost everything I've been able to accomplish. And a lot of times it's, making a commitment that takes away from some of the family time, but I've always continued to explain, but it's kind of the giving back outside of our family that's important to me, and they support it, so. Well, I think I just continue to try to, even with the employees, that I engage with on a daily basis, or people I interact with in town, is to engage them early on to get involved. If somebody sees something that they need or feel that should be slightly different, then they need to participate. It's much like when some of my associates come and they say, we've got a problem. I turn around and say, well, what's the solution? I'm not like a magic box that has a lot of answers, but I am one that would be willing to engage if I see something that needs addressing, and the best thing to do is try and work out a solution. So I would encourage anybody, in town, if you think it can be better, or in your work, or in your family, or, in the region, to engage to make it better. That came about 4 or 5 years ago when we were trying to think of what could we do. It's not much you can do with lift trucks and, rack and shelving and conveyors to kind of engage a group of people to come together, network, and enjoy, just that. So we actually put the idea of cruise nights together. And instead of just having a cruise night and then charging and taking the proceeds, we actually take no proceeds, and all of it goes to a cause. So we do 4 or 5 a year. This year they happen to be on the second Wednesday of the month, but they're for like the Warrior Connection, autism, Raise a Hope. This year we actually did the 125th anniversary was our May, so that hopefully we could get some momentum going to get other people to give to the cause of the 125th year, because it's a big year, and it's, my grandfather was almost here, 125 years ago. I looked at the date of his birth, and it's not 125 years, but it's not too far from it. And so the legacy of, our family has been in East Long Meadow for quite a long time. We're pretty lucky in East Long Meadow to have the 4th of July that we have, because of all the surrounding towns. It's one of the best towns to be involved in, either on the 3rd or the 4th. I don't know that I've made all 60 plus parades, but I've made the fair majority of them, bar a few. And I've had opportunities, obviously, to be other places, but there's just something about all the people that come together, the support of our flag, our country, the music, the whole event, and the fireworks that go off on most years. They're really quite attractive and a great place to be. So it's a magnetism I can't quite explain, but it has kept me here, that's for sure. I had no actual thought in my mind that anybody would ever call me. I was very surprised to learn that I was going to be the Grand Marshal, and quite honored, to tell you the truth, to be, doing that, knowing the people that have been the Grand Marshal before me, I've always looked at them to be role models and people that I wanted to aspire to be or be like. So it's a great honor, and I'm really quite pleased. So.
Another celebration last week, the East Longmeadow Library hosted its annual Summer Reading Kickoff event on Friday. ELCAT's Jamie Rook stopped by for the event.
Tonight we are celebrating the Summer Reading Kickoff. The summer reading theme this year is a universe of stories, and that's why you'll see a lot of space-themed games. We are encouraging students to read all summer long. And our kickoff tonight is to celebrate the start of summer and the start of a universe of stories.
You may have noticed even more colorful fire hydrants around town recently, which are part of the Lions Club fire hydrant painting in honor of the town's 125th anniversary. East Longmeadow residents of all ages are encouraged to show off their artistic abilities by painting a fire hydrant. Over 70 fire hydrants have been painted so far and will be judged in several categories for prizes offered by the East Longmeadow Lions Club, which is sponsoring the event. While a date for entry into the contest has expired, the club encourages any resident wishing to paint a hydrant for fun to contact the Lions Club at ellions.org for more information. For boat owners in town, it's time to file your annual boat form of list to the Board of Assessors, due each year by August 1st. For your convenience, the state tax form is available by visiting eastlongmeadowma.gov and in the Assessor's webpage under Forms. You may also obtain the form from the Office of the Board of Assessors. The National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey has been used to monitor the health and nutritional status of U.S. residents of all ages and will be conducting a survey in Hampden County starting June 7th through September 2nd. 623 people will be asked to participate in this survey. If you have an interviewer calling your household, it is a legitimate, federally funded survey with significant influence on health policy across the nation. Veterans can stop by the Pleasant View Senior Center on Tuesday, July 2nd at 9 a.m. for a free breakfast sponsored by TD Bank. Breakfast will be provided by Coughlin's Place. Sign up by July 1st by calling 413-525-5436. And finally, Wednesday marked the opening concert of the 2019 Rotary Club Summer Concert Series with the first appearance by the Eagles Experience. The July 3rd concert features returning favorite Trailer Trash leading up to the annual fireworks display, which will begin at 9:30 sharp. That's it for this week's edition of ELCAT News. I'm Jen Carlos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.